Greetings, car fanatics. So I have told you all, eventually I'm going to create a video of me driving the vehicle and talking about my impressions. So sorry for the long awaited ado. I'm finally getting to it now. So let's talk about the basics. When you first get in the vehicle, I think one thing that's very prevalent and you notice right away is how logical everything is placed. The shifter's in the right place, the steering wheel feels very good, you have all your buttons kind of within reach. And I'd say the interior is pretty Spartan, so you have all your basic necessities, but nothing super flashy and fancy. The other thing I really like about driving this particular 911, and I'm sure the other 911s are the same way, but because of the shape, the greenhouse lets in a lot of light. Additionally, you don't have any weird roof lines or anything getting in the way of visibility, so it makes driving the car very nice because you can, see all your blind spots and look out of the car pretty well. So overall, I do like driving the car. It's very comfortable. Let's talk about the gizmos of this car. My car isn't fully optioned out. I don't have the sport exhaust system. If I did have the sport exhaust system, what I can do is press a button so I can switch the exhaust to sport mode, and it would open up some baffles and make the exhaust louder. What I have done is performed a gundo hack on the muffler, so it basically acts like the sport exhaust, but it's always open. And honestly, I think that is something I like, because even with the hack, the car is still not that loud. It's very good for commuting, but when you get on the throttle like this, you can really hear the growl on the inside of the car, so I think that's good. Other features this car has, so every 911 will have the automatic spoiler. That is kind of cool to be able to put the spoiler up and down. It's actually functional and will deploy itself at higher speeds. This car is equipped with PASM, so this is the sport suspension where you can stiffen up the dampers. I like this feature. It's actually pretty compliant even on some slightly bumpier roads. And in the twisties, you can definitely feel the chassis stiffen up. So that's another cool feature. Other than that, I mean, this car doesn't have a lot of gizmos to it. Power's very reasonable. 385 horsepower. That doesn't sound like a lot of horsepower in today's age where we have, $30,000 cars with 400 plus horsepower. But I'd say this car does a lot with that 385 horsepower. For one, the engine is in the back, and the power doesn't have a very long way to travel, so it gets to the road very well. So the 385 in a 911, for other cars, it's gonna feel like a lot much more horsepower, because of the engine configuration. The car is also very nimble. I mean, this car is about 3,100 pounds. Not the lightest thing out there, but compared to sports cars or cars that consider themselves sports cars nowadays, that's fairly light. So overall, it makes for, a very fun car to drive. Super tossable in the corners, has a ton of grip, and the power is amazing. The transmission is a 6-speed manual. Overall, it's a pretty precise transmission. I think I've driven cars with better feeling transmissions, but it's actually really good. I will say from the factory, the throws are pretty long, and I'm not sure why that's the case. You would expect a sports car to have a really tight gearbox, but the throws here are a little bit long. It's not something that bothers me too much. Other people have got short shifters to fix the problem. Alright, so now we're about to drive on one of my favorite canyon roads in the area. And you'll see a lot of videos where people on canyon roads are driving very fast. That's all great and all, but I think the number one thing is safety. When you're out there enjoying your car, you need to do it responsibly. Last thing you want is to hurt other people, yourself, or even your own vehicle. Alright, so we'll get a chance to open her up in a second after we pass this vehicle. Second gear. Engine has a nice growl. That's nice. It's very strong. And what you'll find with these 911 engines, the power is super linear, and it continues to pull even harder as you get towards red line. Like, you don't even want to shift. but you have to. I'd say like right from about 5,000 to 7,000 is a sweet spot in this engine. It really comes on strong. Alright, so we're going to the twisties here, and the car is very compliant. I'm not going really fast. The car has a ton of grip. There are 295 wide tires in the rear, running Michelin Pilot Super Sports. Now when you turn in, the car's responsive right away. You don't really get a ton of push in the vehicle. The corner is relatively flat. I think where a car like this, where you start to feel the engine, is when you have a lot of direction change back to back. That's when you're going to get that pendulum effect in the rear end. It's going to start feeling heavy. But once you're dealt into a turn like this, it feels great. It just feels like it grips for days. So someone of my driving experience, I'm not very good. I'll never really push a car to its limits, nor do I want to push the car to its limits on public roads. So you guys may have seen my one video about the weird window quirk. Well, on the passenger side, the window has automatic down, but it does not go up automatically. You have to hold it up, and then there's some weird built-in safety where it'll stop the window from going all the way up for some reason. That I don't like. Other things I don't like, the car is a little bit noisy. The inside is, a sports car running on some 19-inch wheels with low-profile tires, so more of the road noise is going to come in the cabin. I think it could be a bit quieter. This would make it much better for longer commutes. Other thing I don't like is the car does have some squeaks and rattle. I would attribute the rattling to the fact that it's a sports car, it's running on low pros, and has a stiffer suspension, so over time things are going to get loose. Other things I don't like, the transmission is for the most part pretty good when you warm it up. However, on a cold start, it could be difficult sometimes to get it into second gear. If you are trying to shift really early into second gear, it's probably going to grind a little bit on you. Once the engine warms up and the transmission, that goes away completely. Some people also experience that with first gear. Alright guys, there you have it. This is my first of many to come driving impression videos. Overall, I really love the 997. I decided to purchase it because it was right in the price range of what I was looking for. If you're going to look for a used car in the $40,000 to $60,000 price range, 997s, will fall in that category. They're still very much a modern sports car with the iconic Porsche look. 5-10 years from now, the car will still be looking pretty good. Much better than I think some other cars where the design is less timeless. But yeah, feel free to give this video a thumbs up, leave a question below if you have one, and subscribe to my channel for more videos.